Well, we said they may not go 15-0 down or 0-15 down the stretch and keep the skid going. If they did win a game, it would be against Washington. And that's exactly what happened in their final road game of the campaign with a 122-103 victory over the Washington Wizards, snapping their 12-game losing streak with 2 games remaining, both at home Friday and Sunday. We talk about it today because Jeff Dowtin's career high ruined it all. Let's get to it. Welcome to the PHLY
After a 2-week hiatus.
Sixers postgame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. With Derek Bodner, Kyle Newbeck, I'm Devon Givens, Bree producing. All of you ready to go in the chat. As Val says, clap your hands, everybody. Well, it's been a long time since you could say it, so have at it, Val. They got the win, and they beat the Wizards 122-103 to sneak one in there, Kyle, before they get back home. We will get to the Tank Watch a little bit later. We will check in on another big NBA game that's happening in the moment. We'll do our daily
NBA game.
Daily Tankathon spin, Ace Hardware temperature check, player of the game as well. Kyle, they got the win, and really, in the first quarter, you can kind of tell it was trending that way, that they were going to win this one. First, it was Lonnie Walker. Then it was also Jared Butler, and then Jeff Dowtin just got it going.
Well, and Quentin Grimes in the third quarter. So you really had like it was a take your turn, your turn, my turn kind of.
It really says more or as much about the Wizards as it does about the Sixers. Like that available Wizards team stinks out loud. But I will say these guys, in spite of how talent starved they may be, in spite of how, jumbled up the roster has been, new guys coming in and out. It's a new two-way player not two-way player, but new 10-day player every 10 days. They're just cycling through these contracts, giving new people chances. These guys have been playing hard. They have generally been playing a team-first brand of basketball. Like it's move the ball, share the ball, relocate, cut, play off your guy, like just do your job type of offense. And while the shot making has gone cold plenty of times, while the defense for the most part has continued to stink, it has been a watchable offensive product. It's been because a lot of their guys that are available are guards and ball handlers who can create a little bit for themselves or others. They've at least had a chance to have competent offense. And so tonight when you have 4 different guys really, who had at least stretches of the game where it's like, all right, this guy got hot. All right, this guy's beating his man. This guy is knocking down threes. It was just too much for a Washington team that has a talent dearth of their own.
Second night of back-to-back for them too.
Yeah, and they're fatigued. So there was definitely a point in that game where it was just the Sixers pulling away. But they've been knocking on the door. Like they scared Minnesota. We were bit worried about that game last Saturday. They've had some close calls where, they pushed Houston in Houston. That game took a miraculous tip in before the regulation buzzer on a missed free throw to send that to overtime. Been a lot of these games during this 12-game losing streak they were on where they were close, not close enough. And so we're talking about, man, you really need to sit Quentin Grimes. Boy, Tyrese Maxey better not come back and all that. End of the day, I do feel good for the guys who are left. Mm-hmm. It helps that they are basically locked into this bottom 5 seed and position in the lottery order because the Nets won last night and the Nets and all the other teams have been winning a lot more than they have. So you can feel good for these guys. You can feel good for Jeff Dowtin having a nice game after a layoff because of 2-way contract shenanigans. You can feel good for Jared Butler and Lonnie Walker and all these other guys. I don't want it to happen again. I want them to make sure that they're locked into this 5th spot. We don't need to be messing with the lottery odds. But for guys who we've been talking over and over about, they're still competing. They have to go out there and be subjected to the losing and the mental fatigue and drain that puts on you. So I'm happy for that group that they were able to not lose 15 straight games to end the year.
Yeah. I feel like Lou Brown in Major League. Nice win. Don't ever let it happen again. And you had Jess in there being like, Derek looks so upset. No, this is my happy face. You can't tell. This is the way I emote. No, I don't. I'm pretty much at ease with this because, like we mentioned, they have to win out to risk their 5th spot. That's really unlikely to happen. Not only do they have to win out, but then the Nets have to lose out. That could happen. But the Sixers winning both these games, not saying it's an impossibility. I'm not all that concerned of it just yet. Like Devon mentioned, this is a Wizards team who stinks. 4th worst defense in the league, worst net rating in the league, 2nd worst record in the league. They stink. They just stink. And they're on the 2nd night of a back-to-back, so even if they're going to give good effort, they're probably not going to have their legs. They're going to be a step slow in their rotations. Their jump shots are going to come up front rim a lot. This is a game that you looked at the calendar, and when we said, can they really lose 15 straight to end the season? We all sort of sat there and said, no, they're probably going to squeak out one win. This was the most likely candidate. It always was going to be. And also you had a career night from Jeff Dowtin. You had instances where Lonnie Walker came out really strong. You had, Quentin Grimes, who really struggled in the first half, came out and had a real good 3rd quarter to help you kind of take control there. It happens. It is nice to see, as much as we are all sitting here obsessing. I can't believe how much I have these lottery odds memorized, but obsessing over these lottery odds and how important it is and how much hope it can give a franchise and inject into a fan base that so desperately needs it. It is still nice to watch a team that looks like it still kind of gives a shit. And for as bad as their defense is, and I'm pretty sure, if you look at where they rank league-wide since Quentin Grimes entered the starting lineup, which is also a pretty good place to look at, well, that's when they stopped trying, and that's when the Stars left the lineup. They're the 24th, I think, ranked offense, which is actually a little better than I would have expected. They are tied for the worst defense in the league. That being said, for the most part, I think they give effort defensively. This isn't a team that I think is completely checked out. They just, especially when they had Yabu in there at the 5, they have absolutely no rim protection, and they're short on depth. So it is nice to see them come out, give good effort. On nights when you give good effort, play a crappy team, and your perimeter shots going in, you're going to have this.
We've said many times after these games, as the guys said, there have been a lot of close games that they've been in, but they've just simply run out of gas in the 4th quarter. But they compete, and they have competed. And all of these players outside of, well, for different reasons, because I won't exclude Quentin Grimes. He's playing for a long-term deal. Yabusele playing for a long-term deal. The others are hanging by a thread to stay in the NBA, and they're out there competing. So it's no fault of their own that they have lost 12 games in a row. They're just simply not talented enough, and that's not their fault. So when you kind of peel everything back and you take away for one night, saw Sal in there, said, I missed the helmets. The helmets should be back over the next 2, and we'll explain why as we go along. But for one night, as we looked at the schedule and you couple that with the fact that Washington played a really close game last night in Indiana against that Indianapolis team that's trying to position themselves for some seeding in the top of the East, they really battled last night too. They had to come back and play again. And they are also, while they do have better talent, the talent is young. They have a lot of lottery picks, but they still don't really know how to play basketball. And as a result, you're going to get losses from them. But they also compete, and the Sixers got the better of them tonight. And that's just a reward for how well they have played over the last 12 games to finally get one. It's probably tough to be in that locker room after losing all those games, knowing that you gave it your all in the 35 minutes that you're, by the way, not used to playing 35 minutes for Adem Bona or Alex Reese playing 20.
Basically, any of these guys
Castleton,
are not used to playing that
playing all
of
those minutes. And then you get your head beat in the 4th quarter because you're just not good enough to keep up, and the defense is not good enough to slow down a Miami team that you may be able to compete with, but in the end, you just can't beat them. So tonight, for them to get this one, good for them. It really is good for them. We'll see them for the next 2 games at home, Friday and Sunday, and they sneak this one in. And I brought up, this is not a tank watch, really. It's just more of when you look at Atlanta coming in here on Friday. Atlanta lost their game last night. They are only a game up on Chicago and Miami and Chicago are playing right now with Chicago leading. So
and Orlando locked in the 7 seed tonight.
Well,
so you want to get into that 8
both
seed.
of those 2 teams that you're playing, they both are playing for that 8 seed. That 8 seed is a big deal because you only have to win 1 game to make the playoffs rather than 2 if you fall to 9 or 10.
And your point was in pregame and on Twitter where you let everybody know after the game last night that Brooklyn won, the Sixers now need a combination of their own loss or a Brooklyn win to secure that 5th worst record in the NBA. So we're going to talk about this one tonight and give them their credit. But when we jokingly say, as Sal said, I missed the the helmet should be back because those two teams are playing each other right now. Chicago and Miami. We saw Miami. Chicago's playing. Atlanta is also playing for that spot with Chicago, as they only separated by a game as I look at it right now, a game behind the Atlanta Hawks. So should Chicago beat Miami tonight, they're only going to be a half game back of the 7th seed. And then go ahead.
I was just going to say, both of the two teams the Sixers have to play, still having something to play for is a big part of why I still have a little bit of zen left.
Yeah, big deal. And by the way, real fast, how the hell is Chicago playing for an 8 seed? We knew they were playing good. I just thought they were going to be locked in at 9. That's how bad Miami and Atlanta have been over the last couple of weeks for them to be able to sneak in there. So props to them, even though they're crazy with all the things going on with their ownership. But again, hat tip. No helmets tonight. Hat tip to the young guys of the Sixers for pulling off this win and getting it done. And no Yabusele was a big deal. You have somebody like Castleton coming in there and playing some decent minutes when he's showing some decent stuff when he's out there in his minutes with the offensive rebound, put back dunks, sliding at least defensively, positioning himself in the right way to cut off a drive, forcing a pass against this Washington team. So good for them. Good for them to get the win.
Well, to that point, with Yabu out and you're having to rely on other people, Adem Bona, another good game, right? Like we just keep talking about this kid, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks. Big problem for him tonight was the turnovers. He had 4 turnovers, and I think a lot of that was just you come back to his hands aren't great. Like he had a play where it came down with a nice offensive rebound, just hands were not strong enough, gets it batted away. Washington goes on a fast break the other way. But 17-9 with 2 blocks. And Alex Sarr, top 5 pick in this past draft, who same class, so someone that for the long term he'll be compared to in some ways, scores 12 points on 14 shots, only has 3 rebounds. And I think the defining thing about that game, and some of this is just about how Sarr plays, he didn't get near the rim.
I remember earlier in the year, you losing your mind about Wemby shooting jumpers. He would drive you nuts.
Oh, would drive me absolutely insane watching this kid all the time. But
and he couldn't move Bona when he did try to back him
Adem
down.
did a good job of getting to positions, holding his stance, and saying, I'm not letting you get toward the paint, right? Like, so Alex Sarr ends up settling for a lot of these turnaround mid-post jumpers.
5 for
He's
14.
catching entries like 18 to 20 feet from the basket. And I'm saying to you guys during the game, I was like, dude, what is this guy doing?
Especially that baseline fadeaway.
Put this guy in a pick and roll. And there were moments tonight, right, where he just dives to the rim and makes some plays. And you're like, well, that's what it's supposed to look like. And some of it is a limitation of Sarr. Some of it is about how directionless the Wizards looked on offense. But Adem did a nice job of keeping him in front of him. He only committed 2 fouls the entire night, right? So one of the things we've been talking about with Adem is keep your hands back, play with discipline, trust your athleticism, trust your ability to make the recovery plays. And we're seeing that more and more and more and more. And, you don't focus too much on the individual matchups within the draft class when it's a guy who's in the top 5 and it's a second-round player, right? Normally this would not matter. If it was a normal season, Adem probably isn't even getting minutes in this game. But it's a good litmus test for him where it's like, okay, these are similar age players. You come in together. You have the same amount of NBA experience as each other. And Adem thoroughly outplays this guy. So it was another nice reminder of what he has built and what he has done with this end of the season stretch. So I'm really he is one of the main reasons I am still, other than this is our job. But he's one of the main reasons I'm still dialed in on these games. It's like, okay, what is he going to show tonight? He attempted a corner 3. Missed it, but it was an in and out type of miss.
Take him more
toward the end of the game. I want to see more Adem Bona 3s in these last 2 games. Show me what you got.
And you've seen him in practice. You guys are
He works on it a lot.
He works on it. So one of those are going to fall for him where he's going to have the confidence to keep firing them up.
Yeah. No, it's just been real impressive, the consistency he's had. Especially because even though a lot of the Sixers' top scorers tend to be guards, whether it's Lonnie Walker or Jared Butler sometimes, or especially Quentin Grimes, even still, it's not like they have great guard play. He's the type who should really be helped by getting more competent players around him. For him to come out with this collection of spare parts and have the kind of consistency he's shown, it's been really impressive. And I think they pulled up a stat on the broadcast where he was leading the league in blocks over the last month or something like that.
Remember, the blocks were 2.5 blocks that he averaged last month.
And like his timing, his decision making on blocks has gotten better. It's not quite where it needs to be. He still goes for some that he shouldn't, and because of that, he's out of either picking up fouls that he doesn't need to, or he's missing rebounding opportunities. But his night-to-night consistency is so far away above and beyond where I thought it would be. And like Kyle said, part of that is because he's just gotten more times and more reps than any of us expected, and than he would have if this season was even remotely normal. But even still, he has progressed way quicker than anyone could have expected.
And for the people who may have missed it when we discussed it on the last show, and I gave the numbers of what his numbers look like since last month, the middle of last month, where he's been playing consistent minutes like the guys are talking about, excluding tonight, 12.8 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks. And he's pretty much right there again for those numbers tonight against the player that's supposed to be better than him. And for at least tonight, and even the last game that they played, he was battling with him again. And Sarr is thin, and we know that. He still has a long way to go. But for him, that he was drafted very high because he's projected to be really, really talented.
And he's had some good games recently. He's closing the season fairly strong for the up and down year he's had.
Tonight, Bona got the better of him. He was the better player out there on the floor against him. And you can tell it wasn't even close with how it looked. Even when he had a couple of those dives where down the middle and he finished with a right-handed layup, he also had those same type of dives where he missed a shot or made a bad decision because Bona stopped him in his tracks and made him think about not going up and trying that same type of finish once again because Adem Bona was there. So he just continues to show why we've talked about him as being the primary backup to Joel Embiid. The question would be, though, if they get a veteran center or if they get another young center somehow in here, of what it might look like.
It's really about Drummond coming back.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that...
I swear, if like November I'm watching Andre Drummond, I'm losing my mind.
Well, so that's the thing, right? Like
5.
You have to make your peace with he'll be on the roster. But I think the most interesting thing that happens as a result of that is like we saw what Drummond looked like this year. He was straight up bad, right? Yeah. And he played through injury at times, and it was a weird year for him on multiple fronts. Like maybe you talk yourself into
he started bad and then he got the injury and he got worse, but he was bad from the jump.
He was bad the whole way. And I think it's more about like, okay, what happens with Yabu? And if you carry Yabu on the roster, you re-sign him, and he's a front court guy, and you say to yourself, he's our stretch big option, right? Like if we want to play 5 out, other than having healthy Joel Embiid, Yabu is our path to it. You can't sign another big, right? You're not going to carry 5 bigs on the roster. That's not tenable. It's the same thing as carrying a bunch of small guards in a different way. It's just you have too many guys that don't have are too overlapping in their skill sets. They don't do different enough things. And so Bona has to be in the picture. Yabu, if he comes back, is in the picture. If Drummond is locked in, and I cannot imagine, unless you salary dump him, that he's turning down $5 million over the minimum he would probably get, you just can't bring in another veteran big.
That's going to be up to the coach at that point. If he's outplaying him in training camp, in practice, and you give him a run and Bona's just doing much better with his minutes, the coach is going to have to be like, no, I'm playing this guy. And that's just all it's going to have to be, regardless of what the salary tag is with Andre Drummond, whatever number he is carrying next season, if he does, in fact, come back. So that's going to be on the coach because this kid is going to go out there and give effort. And if this confidence carries over, he's going to go up there and battle with Drummond in practice. Probably going to run right by Drummond, especially in those fast break opportunities, and he's going up the floor. Drummond can't keep up with him, and the second jump is really quick, where Drummond has always been really good with that. Adem Bona is pretty good at that now too. So that's going to be up to the coach to see how he decides.
And unfortunately, I think it's the coach will lean Drummond. Like I don't feel good about that.
If he leans Drummond, we will have some spicy post-game shows if he leans Drummond.
Yes, we will.
But that would be my guess because of 100 different reasons.
Well, we'll see. And that, with Kyle Lowry, kind of reasons.
And just like basic NBA, I say it all the time. Like people thought, hey, you fire Doc Rivers and bring in literally anybody else. It's like that guy will play the young players. Guys. That's not what happens. Coaches don't do it, and they never will.
See, but it drives me nuts when coaches lean towards veterans where their age isn't getting them any better decision-making. It's just getting them slower feet. Move on to the player who physically can. No, we're gonna have a no. That better not happen.
Well, we're not doing that.
Long ways off.
We're not doing that
Good
tonight.
job, Adem Bona.
Exactly.
Good job, buddy.
When we come back, we'll give you the player of the game for tonight because he was tremendous. We'll talk about the Ace Hardware temperature check a little bit later, a tank watch overall, and our daily Tankathon spin. We'll do it all right here on this Wednesday night. Tell you about our watch party as well. It's the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365.
All right, first up, we have to tell you about Timeline. The cells in our bodies are the building blocks of life. Timeline is a supplement that works with those cells that help give you more energy, feel stronger during workouts, and preserve health and mobility as you start to age. Drop ship them to Andre Drummond right now. The patented ingredient in Timeline is Midipure, a postbiotic nutrient that clears out dysfunctional mitochondria, aka the cell's battery packs. With regular use, you'll see and feel the difference in the form of improved energy levels, better workouts, faster recovery, more endurance, and more. Midipure recharges your cells and helps your body's systems to work better. Midipure is the only supplement clinically proven to rejuvenate health at the cellular level, and Midipure is shown to deliver double-digit increases in muscle strength and endurance without a change in exercise. So get ready to be the best, most energized, most revitalized version of you. Right now, Timeline is giving you 10% off your order of Midipure. Go to timeline.com/PHLY today to get started. That's timeline.com/PHLY.
My people, let me talk to you about some money because right now, you've been paying attention.
Talk to me about some money if you got some.
We've been paying attention. Make sure your savings are right. And if you need a financial institution to do so, that's at TrueMark Financial Credit Union. And it just so happens that it's Financial Literacy Month here in April. And look, we also can tell you about how to teach kids to handle their money. If you're a TrueMark Financial member, like many of you are after we've talked to you about them for many, many months, you've got a fantastic opportunity to help your kids and teens learn to earn, save, and spend wisely with a free Greenlight account. Now, Greenlight isn't just any app. It's a game changer for your kids, whether they're settling in on savings goals, learning how to track their spending, or even getting their allowance that they want to put in the bank and just see it, not just the cash, but see it on their app of how good it looks. It's all right there at their fingertips. And get this, each kid gets their own debit card. You know, you've had it before when you were younger, your first debit card, you felt like you accomplished something. That's right. They can do the same thing and make purchases, learn how to budget, build real world money skills while you also stay in control from your phone. You get peace of mind and they get the chance to make smart, responsible choices with their money. They're going to annoy you too. They're going to say, hey, can you go and check and let me see what it looks like once again, even though you checked 10 minutes earlier, because of the pride that they feel that they have this savings and it's their money. So if you're looking for a way to teach your kids some financial plays this Financial Literacy Month, I can't recommend this enough. It's like training for life's biggest game. Head over to TrueMark.com/Greenlight. Get all the details. Sign up today. Don't miss the chance to set your kids up for financial success at TrueMark Financial Credit Union.
Devon, when you said the word allowance during that read, have you ever seen the show Doug?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that show?
Yeah.
Yep.
All I could hear in my head was the song from that show, I Need Mo Allowance.
I need
Remember
more
that
allowance.
one?
Yes.
So there are 3 banger songs from Doug that I still remember, and I actually quizzed my family group chat on what they're called recently, or if they could remember them, because it was a big show in my household. So I already gave you that one. I Need Mo Allowance.
I don't.
Can you remember the other 2 that I'm thinking of?
I don't.
No.
I don't.
I have not thought about Doug in 20, 30 years.
Chat, I want to see if you can name a couple of Doug bangers that are in my head, because we would get, I actually don't know if we'd get DMCA'd, because I don't know if they're real songs and like if that falls under the Nickelodeon. Bree, you also are welcome to participate in this game, but
I know what Doug is. I've never seen it.
And when you start talking about
guys.
Doug, it makes me think of The Hangover.
I mean, it makes me think of Pork Chop. Pork Chop was a
Jason
dog, right?
Sudeikis singing Doug, Doug, Dougie, Doug, Doug when they lost him and he's back in the,
all right.
in the
Well,
hotel room.
the other 2 songs, Killer Tofu.
Killed
Remember
too.
that one? By the Beats. They're like the parody Beatles with the in-universe
The
Beatles. And then the other one is Banging on a Trash Can. And I will play these for you guys after the show, and it'll be like a trip
I'm sure
through,
I'll remember
a
it.
trip through a time machine.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable stuff.
Oh,
Because they
man,
have
that's
like
good.
full music videos. It's a whole thing.
Oh man, Doug's allowance. That's what we're talking
I
about.
need Mo
With
allowance.
True Mark Financial, and we appreciate you hanging out with us here on the post game show presented by Bet365.
Great names on that show too, by the way. Skeeter Valentine,
Skeeter Valentine,
Chalky
is fantastic.
Studebaker, Roger Klotz.
When was the last time you watched an episode of
Patty
Doug?
Mayonnaise? Probably not that long ago. Within the last maybe like 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Because
You
I
gotta
think
go fired up
they
at
were on
home, yeah.
Netflix or something
See,
at some
'cause
point.
Of those you mentioned, the only two I would have remembered without you reminding me was pork chop and patty mayonnaise.
Patty Mayonnaise
Chalky
is a-
Studebaker, that's the name.
Here's
That's
another.
fantastic.
Do you guys remember Mr. and Mrs. Dink?
No.
His neighbors. So
No.
I'm really gonna. Mr. Dink would always. He lived next door to Doug, and he would always talk about how everything he owned was very expensive. I won't do the Mr. Dink voice that I know how to do, but he'd always say everything was very expensive. He said that because Mr. Dink, the Dink is an acronym for double income, no kids. So the Dinks were living the Dink lifestyle, and he could buy his very expensive tech. Anyway,
Tomorrow we got a day off. I'm watching an episode of Doug.
you
It's
got to
gonna
find
happen.
it. It's so good.
I'm looking at the cast now of course, all the voices, and yeah, you recognize some people in there.
Hey, Aaron knows what's up. He goes, ooh, killer tofu.
That's cool. That's good.
Next episode, hey, Arnold.
Team homework here. Doug, we got to watch one show. One show.
Guys, we got to talk about this
By the way, we're
disaster
off
of a
tomorrow,
team.
so you can watch it. You
There
can
you
watch
go.
Doug tomorrow. We're off tomorrow. We're back on Friday for the pregame show.
Spend that hour doing more productive stuff.
For the and what did you say we're gonna watch? What was the next cartoon that we're gonna watch?
Hey, Arnold.
Hey Arnold. I'm in on that one. Yeah, I'm definitely in on that
I
one.
definitely watched more Doug as a kid than Hey Arnold.
Well, I think that was more, that's the age part. Hey Arnold was a later 90s,
Okay.
like mid to late 90s. Doug was earlier 90s.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
more overlap for us.
absolutely. All right, let's get to
Slade said Daryl has Mr. Dink vibes. I'm leaving that one alone.
let's get to the player of the game tonight, and that is one with a new career high. Jeff Dowtin.
Hell of a game for Jeff Dowtin.
30 points, made 4 threes on 7 attempts.
All of them in that fourth or third or fourth.
I'll check.
He was all in the fourth, right?
73% with 4 steals, and I will check Jeff Dowtin. This has to be his first player of the game. He's had it before?
I think I was going to say, I think he got one before.
He did not make any threes in the 4th.
It might have been the third then.
So in the 3rd, he
The
came
third,
off
he
the
went
bench and made
crazy.
all 3. He had 11 points. He was perfect from the field, 4 for 4. Jeff Dowtin, career high 30, Derek, to get the win. And as Kyle said, he hasn't played in a while.
yeah.
And he comes out and drops 30 in his hometown.
What's it been like 2 weeks?
Because of
last
his
played?
because
Because he only has
played
so
too
many games left. Yeah. Yep. No, it's I think this is last year he can be on a 2-way. So he's like, of all the people playing for something, like he's really playing for something. And he's been on a 2-way pretty much his entire NBA career up to this point. Can't be on him anymore because of his age. He needs to show he's auditioning for the other 29 teams. And for him to come out there and have a good night, like it's, I hope he gets a chance. Obviously, he's going to have one more game here left. I hope he comes out and plays well. Hopefully, the Sixers lose their next one. It doesn't matter if he pulls out a win in the final game of the season. But, yeah, good for him. He came out. He was making his perimeter shots, getting out in transition, even made some of those transition buckets. Some of them were an adventure. But he played real hard and real well.
If Nick Nurse is the coach, Kyle, I don't think you have to worry about.
I've said it 100 times.
He's going to be
He
here.
can't come back. He can't.
He's going to be here.
He can't come back. It's one, they're going to have too many guards, and you should not be using a 2-way spot on another
I
guard.
would take Butler over him.
Yeah, the
Certainly.
Butler as a rostered player should be over him. As a 2-way player, if that's what it comes to, should be over him. But what I will say is that was an unbelievable performance for a guy who just spent 2 weeks not playing basketball. Like, it's an absurd situation where most of March, he's one of their best players. He shoots 50% from 3. They basically don't have enough guys available to play where they're getting 10-day guys on the roster through hardship exceptions. And you just have to field enough players to play a basketball game, and they can't use him because of the limits of the two-way contract and how many days he has left. We have seen firsthand how difficult it is for some players to come off a layoff, particularly Joel Embiid. You guys know he comes back he misses a week, he misses 2 weeks, he comes back. It's like 2 or 3 games before he's got his legs under him. Jeff Dowtin gets put in mothballs for 2 weeks, comes back into a team that some of these guys that are now on the roster he has never played with before. It's a completely new rotation, and all he does is go out and score 30 points, shoot 11 for 15, set a new career high, and lead that team to a win off the bench. Like when I say
At home.
That's a really cool thing for
Yeah.
him too, right?
Yep.
Like ton of family and friends, I would presume, were in the crowd tonight. And when I say I feel good for these guys to get a win and to have these performances, there have been times, whether it's discussions with you guys or on the show, where I'm like, damn you, Jeff Dowtin, keeping
Yep.
these games close, because our concern as a show and as people looking at the long term for the team is draft positioning and what it all means in the big picture. But it was never because I don't like Jeff Dowtin. It was never because I want his career to flame out or for him to not showcase himself. It's because what's best for him at the time was at odds with what's best for the team. So on a night like tonight, where the draft positioning is more secure, where there's more certainty as to where they're going to end up, it's a lot easier to get behind a real nice, feel-good story. And frankly, just a great performance, right? He was just lighting them the hell up. He scores 11 straight in the third. He feels like he cannot miss for a while there in the second half. Awesome, awesome game for him. I hope he gets his chance next year. I just hope it's somewhere else, because I just need to look at somebody different as one of their two-way guys.
Well, you're not going to look at him as a two-way guy because he can't be signed to a two-way contract.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
Daryl Morey's, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just bring back Jared Butler. He traded for him.
And Jared Butler's already under contract. There's a team option there. So.
Yep, absolutely. So Jeff Dowtin, player of the game tonight. Jeff Dowtin, player of the game, brought to you by, as always, no one here on the postgame show. And no, he was really good and came in the game after, again, taking turns, where everybody was taking turns, where it was early on Lonnie Walker. And you're like, all right, Lonnie's about to have another big night. He got into foul trouble. The Wizards come back, but Jeff Dowtin and Jared Butler picked it up in his absence in the second quarter. And in that third quarter, with his perfect play, I looked down for 1 minute. Kyle's like, oh, he did it again. And I'm like, 4 for 4, 3 made threes in that fourth quarter. And he had that personal 8-0 run that forced Washington into a timeout where they were down 10 at that point. And you can kind of see where the game was going by then. But for him individually, just a 27, 28-year-old guy. And one coach really, really likes him. And he keeps getting an opportunity in Toronto and in Philadelphia. But it runs out now with the two-way. So having to put he only has one more game left. So having to put some more film out there for some of the other teams.
It's just a weird rule.
It is.
A weird rule.
Yeah,
like,
so
G League season's over. Let the kids play. Let them audition. Stupid.
It is. So, yeah, good game for him. Good game for him to bounce back like that. And look, we'll talk about a few more guys when we get back. We'll get into some of the other scores around the NBA, update you on the
I actually wonder if that rule's in place so that they can't underpay guys.
It is,
basically.
yeah.
So
They don't want to pay you
against
a
them.
two-way salary
Yeah.
when you're basically just playing.
Okay,
in the
we're
NBA
paying
every
you
game.
way under what the minimum is, but we're using you as a minimum
Yep.
player. So,
But like at the end of the season, just when G League's over, let them play.
yeah,
So how many
what is
guards
the
is
Bill
that?
Simmons term? The VP of common sense needs to
Yes.
step in on this
Yep.
one.
And how many guards would that be? That would be Grimes, Maxey, McCain, if that's your 3. Let's say Butler comes back, that's your 4th. Yeah, it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, assuming they don't draft a guard.
Yeah, I mean,
If
look,
they draft a guard, none of these guards should be back. They should have their 4 and that's it.
right.
But
Yeah. Especially if that guard is Harper that we talked about,
Right.
getting that number 2 overall pick. So Dowtin most likely will be elsewhere, but great game.
Yeah, and he'll
and
be back.
Good to see him. Good to see him do so in his hometown of the Washington area, the DMV, dropping a career high 30 in front of family and friends and helping the Sixers get a win. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Ace Hardware temperature check because we have one, and I don't know, we might have 2. I don't know. We'll talk about that one. But the Ace Hardware temperature check. Then we'll get into Tank Watch. Talk about a few other players that played well in this one. Same thing that we've been discussing there going forward. Daily Tankathon spin. We'll do it all here on this Wednesday night. Sixers snapped their 12-game skid, beat the Wizards on the road, their final road game of the season, 122-103. It's the postgame show presented by Bet365.
Just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage.
I'd take any court advantage for the Sixers right now.
And Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. We've all been to some of those big box stores. You wander around endless aisles and somehow you're hauling all those materials home looking for an installer and coordinating everything yourself. That's a disaster for me. Those big box stores might have a flooring department, but the person helping you with flooring may have been doing sinks yesterday and could be stocking light bulbs tomorrow. Here's why Empire Today is your best bet for a new floor. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ballgame with Empire Today. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home. You pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space, and you see how it looks with your furniture and in your house. You get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered, so there are no surprises. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing, plus you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. PHLY listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code PHLY. Yes, you heard that right. A $350 discount code with code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire Today/PHLY for full details.
And guys, presumably you have a lot more things to work on than your flooring, right? It's a good thing that we can hook you up with Ace Hardware Home Services because whenever they get ready for the next job, they remember what to bring and more importantly, who to bring. They bring experience, local plumbers and techs. They handle everything from repairs and seasonal maintenance to installations and upgrades. They bring their understanding. They listen to your goals, what you want, what your vision is, and the job isn't done until you are satisfied. And of course, they bring helpful so you can spend more of your time on the projects that really matter. That's what you need, guys. People with knowledge, people with know-how, people that can put that sweat equity into your home and make it better. Get free estimates on equipment installation and replacement with trusted advisors and options that are best suited for your home and, of course, your budget. And, by the way, they're local. Their teams, I should say, live and serve in your community and are dedicated to keeping their neighbors comfortable in their home. So visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com and get started on your next project.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Let's keep it going with the Ace Hardware Home Services and talk about the Ace Hardware Temperature Check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your very next project. And Kyle, that guy, one Jared Butler.
Yes, sir.
Playing some good point guard minutes. We just talked about Jeff Dowtin and why we like Jared Butler to return as that maybe fourth, fifth guard for the Philadelphia 76ers tonight in another starting role. 13.6 boards, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers in 29 minutes. He did shoot 5 for 14, so he wasn't great shooting tonight, 3 for 9 from beyond. But he just continues to look more and more comfortable out there leading this group.
I think the things that stand out are connected, which is pace control and the passing. And I think as we talk about the surge that Adem Bona has had at the end of the season, some of his offensive step forward, some of his production that he's now offering is because he has Jared Butler as the starting point guard, and he's getting him, let's say 2 to 3 easy buckets a night, right? A Devon Givens lob of the night from Butler to Bona. He had a really nice moment that you spotlighted while we were watching the game, Devon, where the two of them are up ahead in transition. Butler hesitates just a little bit to freeze the defender, drops it right back to Bona, who then takes off on 2 feet and has an incredible dunk, which was, I guess, probably the highlight of the game, if not for a ton of Jeff Dowtin threes. And I think we only saw it for like a couple games, right, where Butler played with a real version of this team. But I remember that first game he played as a backup point guard with Joel Embiid, where he's just you're the table center, right? You're going to go out there, you align the chess pieces, you get them into their sets, and then you just have to move around the floor as necessary. And so I think if they don't draft a guard, if you go into next season and you have Maxey, McCain, and Grimes, I do want guards other than that, if you have other ones, to be bigger and more athletic and, frankly, closer to wings than they are backcourt guys, because that trio is going to eat a lot of minutes. But if you're looking for someone to be just like a caretaker, fourth ball handler, backup point guard that he can play a week or two if one of those guys goes down, or if you need just a game manager type, I think he fits the profile of what I'd be looking for in that guard. And so since he's on that team option, I'd be happy to have him back. And I think the good news is, based on where you end up with the pick, which you'll know your position by mid-May, you can make an informed decision on like, all right, we'll know basically May 12th if we need to keep Jared Butler around for next season, which is it's nice. It can help you plan out some, not that he's a huge pivot point for the offseason, but if you have that in your mind at that point of the year, the gears start turning on, all right, what other moves do we need to make heading into free agency? What do we need to accomplish on July 1st?
Over his last 9 games, 13.7 points, 45.6% from the field, 46.8% from three, 5.4 assists, and only 1.9 turnovers. Doing a good job of creating opportunities, not making too many mistakes, scoring efficiently. The 3 balls going in. No, he's playing good basketball. And like you said, if he is your 4th or 5th guard, every now and then you go through injuries, he has to come in, play for a week or two, semi-consistent basketball. I'm relatively comfortable for him. Do I want him like relying on him like every night, 20, 25, 30 minutes? No, but I think he's a decent, break glass in case of emergency guard. I'm fine with that.
And Coleman does bring up a point to, we always make fun of Kyle's height check and all that. And not only is he small, he just, not in height-wise, he also just looks smaller.
He doesn't have a big wingspan. I think he's 6'3" and only has a 6'4" wingspan.
So he says he's too small, but he is definitely a real point guard. He's just too small. But Coleman, even though you're right about that, we're also just talking about a 4th or 5th guard where Derek says break in case of emergency, where you can give him, situationally, give him on any given night, if they just need a jolt of something and things are not working, and you say, hey man, go in there, get these guys in order and run the team here real quick. He can go in there for 5 minutes and maybe change something and just swing a game for you because of right now, whenever he rises up for a 3, whether it's off the bounce or off the catch, I think it's going in. That's how good he is shooting right now. And Derek just ran those numbers of the last 5 games where you said 46% from 3, 45% from 3. That's how good it has looked. It seems like it's going in every time. That's not going to translate to those high numbers like that. But he does look like a shooter at that position where the ball swings. If the regular guys are out there on the floor, he is one that can knock down an open shot. He can run a team. He can, again, get them out and get them set up into the right stuff. If things get a little out of control, get a little jumbled up, hey, let's run this, get back into your sets, and let's see what happens. He can do that. And he has been playing really, really well. And if he is, I'm not disappointed if he's I prefer if he's the 5th guard. If they do keep a 5th guard on the roster, I prefer he's the 5th guard. And
I hope they don't keep a 5th guard.
If they did,
if you're going to have a 5th guard,
I want somebody with more height at that 4th guard position where if he's on the roster and there's a 5th guard, I'm okay with that. But if they have a 4th, somebody taller than Quentin Grimes, then that's 6'5".
That's exactly what I was going to say. If you're going to have 5 guards, then you have to have one of them who can at least defend the 3 so you can run some 3-guard lineups.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's our temperature check from Ace Hardware. Ace Hardware temperature check. Make sure you visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. That play, though, was really, really good.
Want to transition? Yeah,
he just slowed up. He let the play develop. And as things started to set up, other guys were finding their man. Bona, as we talk about, is a rim runner. Did not give up on the play, kept running, gave him another option to pass to, even though he circled back and just dropped it off to his big man. Showed the good hands right there. Great decision-making. No charge because Carrington, no, it wasn't Carrington. It was George. George was leaning back anyway. So he got dunked on. He wasn't stationary, and that's how it all played out. Really good play, really good finish, and it was all set up, starting with Butler, and then the young big man never giving up on the play and following the team up the floor for the finish. So good stuff. Really good stuff from Jared Butler there tonight. Can I ask you guys about Marcus Bagley? He's 1 for 8, 1 for 6, but he seemed like he just kept being in the right spot.
Yeah.
Just doing stuff occasionally. And you guys see him in the arena when they're at home. I don't have a chance, so I'm watching from TV, but how does he look to you?
I mean, he certainly looks active.
Looks better?
He looks active. Yeah. Look, I don't believe in him as like a rotation piece for next year. He's coming in here. He's giving you good effort. He's giving you good activities. Physically, he's capable of competing. Offensively, he's got some ways to go.
Yeah, don't believe in the shot. So he's really just an energy, activity, athleticism type of player. And while there's a time and a place for those, you need to have a lot more to your game in today's. A lot of times as we talk about the playoffs, right? People focus in on, that guy can't defend, for example. He's not a playoff rotation player. That's the conventional wisdom. Increasingly, it's even more important for you to be able to shoot to stay in the playoff rotation. Because we saw with Matisse Thybulle here. Matisse Thybulle was an all-defense caliber defender. And because teams could leave him alone in the corner, that guy quickly becomes unplayable in a playoff situation. So, yeah, Marcus Bagley, if he could be a versatile defender and rebound, you could probably find a home in the league. But as of right now, that's about all there is to him is the activity stuff. So, yeah, nice to see him pop up and make some plays, but not a whole lot of future stock being invested in him on my end.
And one more, Castleton.
That being said, since arriving with the Sixers and since his brother arrived with Memphis, he is averaging more points per game than his brother.
Not surprised.
Didn't even have to use a number 2 overall pick on him.
Nope.
There you go.
Not surprised. Castleton, the last one, just bringing him up.
14 rebounds tonight.
Yeah. No, and
not even realize.
I didn't realize he had 14
That's a very
rebounds?
sneaky 14 rebound game.
This is one of those, when we talked about why they won the game and, guard play, making some threes, they got up 53s. They were also crashing the offensive glass early.
Yes.
And that's one thing this team
6.
doesn't do all that often. It was something where they use that to get those extra possessions, to get some open shots. Part of the reason they were able to get 53s up. And he was certainly a big part of that.
Yeah. Yep. Man, 14. I knew he had rebounds.
It snuck up on you because, he only had 2 points. It was not that was the bulk of his work was just, I'm hitting the glass and I'm creating extra opportunities.
That was on that putback dunk. I think it was that putback dunk that he had. So, yeah, man, 28 minutes and 14 boards, lead all rebounders tonight. Good for him.
Yep.
Again, good tape. The show for the rest of the league. Let's tell you guys about AllPHLY.com, of course, and becoming a diehard member. You can check out the recap from Kyle Neubeck after the game, after every game when the Sixers play. If you are a member at AllPHLY.com, Derek's stories also on the website. The Flyers currently playing right now. I thought they took the lead. I haven't checked since to see what happens there. But
I heard just from the chats that they took the lead. Yeah.
Charlie is writing about that. Always.
I saw Charlie say it was more about the Rangers not playing very hard than anything else. But the Flyers have played hard from what I know.
It feels like they're having the exact same post-game show that we're having.
2 tank teams, 2 wins, right? Two wins. But you can read about it all at allphly.com. And when you become a member, you can also hang out with us for events like our May 12th event, the Draft Lottery Party. That's going to be here at the PHLY studios. And we would love to see all of you. We always talk with you all in the chat and in the Discord with Derek and Kyle and me and Bree. Well, Bree in there more than me. But in the Discord, you get a T-shirt when you sign up to become an All-PHLY member. And when you do that, you have the opportunity to sign up and hang out with us on Draft Lottery Night, May 12th. And it's going to be a 2-hour event of hanging out with all of us. We'll have about a half hour of a show where we give our thoughts on whatever happens that night.
And get down on our knees and pray that they keep this damn pick.
Yeah, so when you bring your rabbit's foot, bring your whatever hat that you wear backwards or turn inside out, all the superstitions, bring them because they need to keep that pick. And we get to hang out and eat some food and some snacks and have some drinks and all here at the PHLY studio. So sign up, become a diehard member, and sign up to join us for our event here at the PHLY studio on May 12th. Also, the Flyers are having one May 4th or 5th for their draft lottery party as well.
I'm already nervous with how nervous I'm going to be on May 12th.
Pop a shot.
Papa Shot will be open, like I mentioned before.
Maybe
if
that'll
you,
calm you down, though. You
maybe
get some
or
Papa Shot
at least
shots
distract
up.
me.
All right, let's talk about the real story from tonight.
Get some of those in.
Luka Doncic, man.
I hope
That-
you followed Bet365 tonight.
You did win on that one.
I slammed out on Gambling Gibbons, and I am here to apologize.
What was he over under 47?
47.5.
He almost beat that just with
Just
points.
with points.
He had 45 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists.
Luka Doncic
Made you
in
some
his
money.
return to Dallas, 45 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists,
An echo in
4 steals, and a plus 26 in 38 minutes.
In a win.
In a W.
In a win.
And an important W with the way playoff positioning is shaking up.
And I will
out
say
west.
this to your point pregame when I said the over would be over the 47.5. The emotions, as you talked about, when we saw him with as emotional as he was, when they played the tribute video pregame, as Kyle said, when we were watching, they're doing this pregame, and his tears are watering up, and he's got the towel. He couldn't use the tissues anymore because he was crying so much. He needed the towel. They gave him a towel. I'm like, there's no way he's going to come out here and be focused on this. And the shots that he made tonight,
just devastating. Devastating.
big time stuff. 45 points, man.
I think that moment, that pregame moment, they should fire Nico Harrison the second you see Luka start crying there, right? And he should have been fired already. They should fire him after the season regardless. To look at that guy, at the time you traded him, a 25-year-old, 5-time All-NBA, perennial MVP candidate who led your team to a finals last year. You trade this guy, and his first game back, when you played the tribute video, he has tears in his eyes before the game when he has all the reason in the world to just be mad, like spitting mad at Nico and the organization for trading him. It seems like the thought in his mind was, I never wanted to leave. I never wanted to be in this
100%.
position.
Yep.
I never even thought about the idea that you would trade me, that I would play for another team, and that I'd have to be faced with this proposition of returning to Dallas as a visiting player. And then, as if to drive the message home of how dumb and irresponsible that trade was, after crying on national television, he went out and flambéed you on national TV. He put 45 on your head and reminded you that we've seen this many times in the playoffs, in losing efforts, in winning efforts. When he is in killer mode, that guy is just unbelievable to watch and is one of the game's greatest talents. Like, what a player. And Nico Harrison, what a bozo.
Well, I mean, yeah, he might have had 45, 8, and 6 and a plus 26, but he likes beer and he doesn't have a 5% body fat, Kyle. Have you thought about that?
Him and I share. Those are the only two things that Luka Doncic and I, well, we're also both white. So we're white, greater than 5% body fat, and we like beer. Luka, you can be on Team Newbeck anytime.
It really seemed like Nico had a little bit of like a main character syndrome here. Where like if they win, he wants the credit. He wants to be a team he built, not the team he inherited. He's smarter than everyone else in the room. He's smarter than everyone watching basketball, and he had to prove it. And you just screwed over an entire generation of basketball fans in Dallas. He does not, I really, if you've watched us, we get people frustrated because we don't call for jobs. He does not deserve to be a GM of a team.
No.
Like he completely was derelict of his responsibilities. And I feel really, really bad for Dallas fans. Really bad. Truly.
Yeah, it is. And watching it, we had
We put the sound on for the intro
Kyle did.
video.
I was thinking the same thing, and Kyle got up and turned it up. I'm like, yeah, good call, because I want to hear
Come
what
on.
this looks like. And then Derek is letting us know, yeah, they're chanting
fire. They were coming through loud
Luka.
and clear.
Yeah, that was bad, man. So good on Luka. They get the win. Dallas, I don't even know where they are in the standings, but they're fighting for a play-in situation right now, are the Dallas Mavericks. Luka.
Feels like everyone in the West is fighting for a play.
Tremendous. I didn't notice once we realized where Nico was standing. I didn't notice if he looked in that direction. I knew he was looking in the crowd, but I couldn't tell if he was looking behind the scorers table where Nico Harrison was standing in the tunnel. But he stood there. He took it all. He was taking it all.
because I said pregame I'd seen a report or two that Nico might not be at that game. So
That would be the most cowardly shit.
oh yeah, I'm glad he was there. Just that you got to show face. You
Yeah.
can't trade him and then when he returns, completely disappear. But
Oh man, yeah. If we had one of those, if we had an award to give out, we give out that one. That would be for
Bozo
him.
of the year to
Yeah,
Nico
there you
Harrison.
go.
And by the way, Rob Pelinka, I don't know what the odds are on Executive of the Year. He might win Executive of the Year for simply picking up a
Yes.
phone call. Like
Yes.
it's the wildest part about the whole thing is the trade basically came to fruition because they're boys. Like they know each other and have a relationship dating back a while. And instead of saying, hey, I have one of the highest value players in the league, let's start a bidding war. It's, I'll talk to my buddy and I'll see what he'll give me for this.
Like he's gonna say no.
So
It's like he's gonna say no.
Wemby had more value. Luka might be number 2, just in sheer value. When you consider how much time he has left in his prime, maybe Ant, but Luka over Ant.
Yeah,
I take Luka over
definitely.
Ant easily.
Yep.
Easily.
Yeah.
It's Wemby and then Luka. I
Still
think that's 1-2.
unbelievable. Still unbelievable. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. So yeah, Bozo of the year, Nico Harrison.
Where's Luka Doncic?
He better have-
our
yeah.
show watcher. We gotta.
He better have a fantastic offseason. I saw two fans from Dallas say they don't care. Of course, they say it now, but they don't care if they won 10 championships. You know, it's just bad. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. Let's get to the Tank Watch. We're off tomorrow, but there are 2 games tomorrow that are important. The Nets hosting the Atlanta Hawks. We talked about the Hawks. And the Pelicans taking on the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow on Thursday.
I think
The
there's
Bucks have anything to play for?
a higher likelihood, I think, that the Pelicans steal that game than the Nets winning
Yeah,
that
'cause
game. I
Atlanta
think the
needs
Nets
that.
are cooked.
Milwaukee,
But the Bucks are also just kind of
Milwaukee is 2 games up on Detroit.
okay.
3 games back of Indiana,
Yeah,
so
so
they
not a
most likely
whole
can't
lot.
catch them.
Yeah.
So they're probably locked into 5.
I'll be honest. I think all the bad teams are just going to keep losing. I think Tank Watch, you've been fun. We're seeing it through to the end, but I think number 5, Mambo number 5 for the Sixers.
But 5 will always love you. Donovan told you. There's that.
I completely forgot about that
Yeah.
soundbite.
Oh, that'll be burned into my brain until I
man, I
die.
wish we could play that one. But all right, let's get to the daily Tankathon spin from
Here we go.
Derek Bodner tonight. He hit
No
on the
pressure,
number
Derek.
1 overall pick
Hold on. I gotta,
last night. Yesterday afternoon.
browser up.
Sorry. Yesterday
It's
afternoon.
all nighttime. People always get pissed at me when the Sixers have like an afternoon game, and I'll say tonight in
Yeah,
a tweet,
I do
and
it
I'm
all
like,
the time.
buddy, I'm inside. It's all the same.
Because of the
It's
shows.
like being in Vegas, man. I have no.
It's
idea
all
what
the same.
time
Because
it is.
of these shows at the other place.
All right, here we go, Derek.
Say daytime,
Oh no! Oh no!
Daytime versus
His eyes
nighttime.
dropped. He lost the pick.
I lost 2 picks in a row.
Oh!
All right, the third spin, we got the 4th pick.
Get this guy away from Tankathon, man. He's ruining the vibe before we could even have a good vibe. Damn it, Derek.
I mean, I did get the number 1 pick yesterday.
All right. Rich is on call.
It is hard for me to blame you too when I just don't spin until the day of the lottery.
It's real easy not to be the villain when you
I'm
opt out of the
I'm
exercise.
literally the armchair quarterback over here. Oh, I would have spun it better. That
then do it, coward.
That random number generator would have worked better for me.
We'll have Rich on the call on Friday night and Sunday.
Okay, so 4. That's still the. All
I'm
right,
still-
let's say for the sake of argument that VJ goes 3.
So in Wasserman's earlier, he had him going 3. Pelicans have 4. It was Ace.
I'm taking Ace.
I'm still taking Ace.
Derek doesn't want to take Ace.
I really don't want to take
He doesn't
Ace.
want
I don't
Ace.
believe in Ace at all.
Still taking him.
I'm still probably taking him.
You would jump
Probably.
someone else up over him
Hold on.
at 4?
I don't believe in Ace at all.
You would jump someone else over him?
No, I just said I would take him, but like I'm gonna complain about it the whole time.
Yeah. I mean,
Boy, I can't wait to have Grumpy Bodner talking about Ace Bailey all next season.
what about Trey? You said Trey somewhere in that mix, 5'6".
Trey's
Does
in the
he jump
5'6".
4? He doesn't jump 4.
No, he doesn't jump 4. The only one I just don't believe in Yakuchunas enough to jump 4. I'd go Ace 4.
Queen?
No.
Okay.
Derek's not a queen
Only
guy.
aces
Not
at
a-
4. We're going to
Derek-
overtime here on this Wednesday night. Make sure you check us out going forward right here, allphly.com. Thanks everybody on the Fast channel.
By the way, I have to spotlight this. We have a chatter tonight whose name is Better Call B-Ball Paul. That's one of the best names we've had in the chat.
He was in here
since we started the show.
like 2 weeks ago.
And Better Call B-Ball Paul said, might need to lock Derek up at the draft party. So thank you to Better Call B-Ball Paul.
Well, on draft party, Kyle's the only one that's able to do the spin that night. The one and only spin. Kyle is doing that when
I do
on
one
draft,
every lottery day, every lottery. So I will be the only spinner that day.
How successful have you been? Do you remember?
The one I remember most is in 2016. I got number one when they got.
Well, that worked out wonderfully. Thank you.
It did for a bit. It was better than some of the other garbage they could have gotten.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. All right, let's get ready to say goodnight to everybody. Remember, we're off tomorrow. We're off tomorrow, back Friday, off Saturday, back Sunday, the 2 games, Friday and Sunday. 2 home games, by the way.
And then after that, it's 3 p.m. shows for the foreseeable future.
Get ready to lock in, everybody.
You lock in. You lock in over there.
I don't have a choice. I'll be locked in. 3 p.m. shows the rest of the way. Well, are we going to have a 3 p.m. show on lottery night? Yeah, we're going to have a 3 p.m. show that day.
Are we?
I don't know.
We're going to have to talk to Vince about that.
Talk to Vinny about
If
that.
we're doing 2 hours at night, we don't do an hour in the morning.
I don't know. That's why I asked.
It's time for a roll call. Thank you, everybody, for checking in and hanging out.
Answer our question. We know you're there. We see you.
Hey, on the way out, tell me what your favorite song from the Nickelodeon show Doug is. For my real Doug heads who are listening in the middle of the show. Thank you to everybody who was here, but especially to Theo.
What up, Theo?
To Bootzilla.
Boots.
To Rick Morse, to I Gavini.
What up, I Gavini?
To Public Enemy number 35. He's just falling down the list these days.
Money Mar?
Money Mar.
He's no longer
hanging out with us.
Public Enemy.
I was going to say, I guess he's not a Public Enemy. We took the wanted poster down. Money Mar, you're safe. Dan Taylor. Dan, thank you for stopping by. Mom's grandchildren. Hello, Mom.
Hello, Mom.
DJ, a.k.a. Mr. Sandman. We got my girl Winona. We got, as I said already, Better Call B-Ball Paul gets like a 3-time shout out.
It is. I do put in the name power rankings. I do put that behind Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic is an all-timer. And I will say, by the way, Better Call Saul on par with Breaking Bad. So anyone who has not watched it.
I loved Breaking Bad. I only ever watched the first season of Better Call Saul and never went back.
You got to see it through. It's so good. Val host. What up, Val? Thank you for hanging out with us as always. Mellow 3-point. We have Glenn.
What up,
because
Glenn?
there's only one Doc in Philadelphia.
It was good to see. I saw Glenn in there. I was like, wow, it's been a while. What up, Glenn? Only one Doc.
Hello, Glenn.
Well,
thank you for checking in.
The pitcher. We gave him Doc.
Did I say Jess? If I didn't, hello, Jess. Thank you for hanging out as usual.
Purple Heart.
Kyle Wright is in here. You better love somebody.
Love somebody. Love somebody.
Who else is in here? Who we had?
Saw Sal earlier.
I did see some other people, but my scroll is broken as always because my computer decided it didn't want to cooperate with me. Bree is scrolling through all these crazy chatters because that's what Bree does. She tries to make me and all of us look better and look smarter than we are. Devon Givens, who's that guy? Derek Bodner, who's that guy? Coleman Potts, that's who I was thinking
What up, Coleman?
What's up, Coleman? And Neil Deaver. Number 1 Nikola Jokic fan in the Sixers fan base.
The great Coleman.
And the PHLY Sixers. Elaine Bruno.
Trading places.
Scott Sotan.
What up, Scotty?
INS, of course. Did I say Bootzilla? I'm saying it again.
Boots.
Bootzilla. I didn't see Cannoli, but
I didn't see Cannoli.
I'm going to say holy Cannoli anyway. Cannoli, if you're out there somewhere, we miss you, my friend. On the way out, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live. And hit the thumbs up to say thank you, super producer Bree. You guys better come to that damn draft party May 12th to give your in-person thanks.
If we lose that pick, I need as many friends in this building as possible.
Yeah, because I'm bringing some whiskey, so
and
I need some people to help me drink it.
And food. And food.
And food. And a Papa Shot competition with Derek for free beverages. Come through, guys.
About that.
But more importantly, take care of each other. Stay safe. We will be back on Friday night for the second to last, the penultimate game of the Sixers season against Atlanta, right?
Yes, it's against
the Atlanta Hawks. Friday night. Be there. We will. And thank you to Bet365, as always, for presenting today's show.
See you at 6:30.
We all silly like the mayor.